Good afternoon, everybody. Tommy Jordan here, and I want to take a minute to debunk or maybe educate readers, viewers, on some of the COVID-19 exposure tracking stuff that I keep seeing running all over Facebook. So there's this rant all over social media. It's in memes. It's all over the place saying, "Oh my God, Google secretly installed software on your phone that's going to track you, and you'll know where you are. And Google's trying to spy on you, and they know if you got COVID." Once again, individuals are intelligent, and people as a herd tend to be stupid. So, how does that work, and how does it not work? Most of it, 90% of what you read is absolute crap, written by people who have no clue what they're talking about. The funny thing is, the day Google released this, they published everything. They're like, here's how it works. Here's what it does. Here's how it functions. Here's how you turn it on. Here's how you turn it off. So, what does it do? It is called COVID-19 exposure notifications, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to get to it. So if you have an Android phone, here's how you get to it. You open your phone up, you go to your settings app, scroll down to Google, and you'll probably see it if you have an updated phone right there on the very top. COVID-19 exposure notifications. And by default, you should be able to read that. It is turned off. And if I hit this button, slide the bar, it's turned on. Oh, I don't have the app, duh. So, but by default, Google turns it off, okay? To turn it on, you have to take another step and download an app for your state. Every state's different. So, how did this start? Google came up with a way to help the medical professionals and people that want to participate in solving a dilemma with contact tracing. So, if for some reason I have COVID, I'll make it easier. This user, this phone, this guy does not have COVID, this guy has COVID. Here's what you have to do to make this work in the first place. The guy that has COVID would have had to go into his Google settings or his iPhone settings, turned the feature on, downloaded the app from his state's website for DHS. So every state has a different one. Installed the app, set it up, and turns it on. Then this user has to go turn the feature on, download the app, turn that on, and set theirs up. So I have two people now who both have this application turned on. This guy's got COVID, this guy doesn't. The system does not use GPS. It's not tracking you as you walk around town. Not through GPS, not on a map, okay? It uses what's called Bluetooth proximity. And some people are going to go, "Oh my God, well, it's tracking what my phone is close to?" Yeah, here's a hint. Bluetooth proximity has been being used for decades. For example, if you don't change your security settings and aren't one of these security freaks that just totally locks your phone down so it can't do anything but make phone calls, which means I don't know why you have a smartphone in the first place, but if you are a normal person that doesn't have those settings turned on, and you walk into Lowe's, your phone might pop up and be like, "Hey, what do you think about Lowe's?" "Oh, I like Lowe's. I rate them 5 stars. How do you think your phone knew where you were? In that case, it's you using location history and GPS. But you may have walked through stores, Walgreens, pharmacies, high-end retailers, and all of a sudden, your phone will pop up and give you a notification going, "Hey, you sure you don't really need a new pair of diamond earrings? Because they're right over there on aisle 4. You think that was random? No. That store invests money in what's called Bluetooth beacons. They pulse for phones that are nearby them within 5 or 6 feet, and as you walk by, if you have it turned on, that beacon goes bing and sends you an alert because it knows that there's a potential shopper. The technology's been around for a long time. It's used for a lot of things like that. It's not like it's brand new. So what Google does, if I have the app on my phone, I have to go download something from the NCDHS website for my state, install that, turn it on, then go back in the app and turn the settings on. It's not exactly even easy to do. So I do that, and this person with COVID did that. The way this software works, both phones are generating a randomized Bluetooth ID number. It's just a random string of numbers that changes every 10 to 20 minutes. It's not like the same Bluetooth signal it uses for your phone, because your phone has a name and your headphones have a name, and that's how they pair. This is a randomized number on purpose, specifically to prevent tracking. What happens If this phone is actively seeking, and this phone is actively seeking, and these two phones walk past each other in a subway, if this guy has gone into his phone and said, by the way, I want people, I'm not trying to broadcast this, but I do want contact tracers to have a better chance at this. So I have COVID. Okay, I have COVID-19. I was diagnosed positive. Click. He's done that in his phone. When my phone walks near that phone, I will then, at some point in time in the near future, get an alert saying, hey, you've been potentially exposed to COVID. Because it knows my phone that is not exposed, or at least I haven't told it it's exposed, walked by a guy close enough for these two phones to go boom and sync momentarily or pulse momentarily and let each other know that they're there. This technology's been around for a long time. A lot of you guys use NFC, which is you put your phones together, they transfer pictures back and forth, or you put your phones together and you beam contacts back and forth. This technology is kind of the same concept, all right? That's what it does. It lets the other user know you have positively been identified as walking past someone or being in proximity to someone that had COVID. Doesn't tell you who, doesn't tell you where you were, just says you did that. That's for your knowledge, and it's for for DHHS's knowledge. I don't have the app turned on myself. My assumption is that if I did, I'm assuming by being part of that program that DHHS would be notified that this person's got it, and they're actively trying to help other folks know. But it's not using GPS. It's not tracking it everywhere you go, and it's not personally identifiable. They purposely randomize the Bluetooth ID codes every 10 to 20 minutes just to prevent that. It's not doing app tracking or location tracking in the way some of you people think that it is. It's intentionally randomized and anonymized so people's information is not given out. Now, maybe you don't believe that and you believe it's a big giant conspiracy, and if that's the case, why do idiots like you own smartphones in the first place? Because you obviously just need a phone with 9 buttons or 12 buttons and a dialer, because you don't want to use these features the rest of the world use. I happen to like those apps. I use them for work. I actually have to use them for work a lot of times. Modern business requires these functions of us, and they're just part of life, and most of us in the technology world embrace them. There are you out there with your tinfoil hats that don't, and that's fine. To each your own. However, please stop spreading stupid stuff on Facebook because you don't know what you're talking about. All right. One of the posts I saw today was like, once you turn it on, you can't turn it off, and they know where you're at, and they're going to track you forever. That's absolute bullshit. That's not true. I mean, there's nothing about that that's true, and you obviously have no clue how it works, which is funny, because if you were to go to google.com/COVID-19, there's an entire Google site dedicated to it. If you want to know how this works, go to, let me find the right link. I had pulled it up so I could tell you. Yeah, google.com/COVID-19/exposure notifications. All one word, google.com/COVID-19/exposure notifications. Bloop. It walks you through the entire system, how it works, what you need to do to turn it on, how to get through the process, and how to turn it off. If you don't like the app, simply, wrong phone. I'm not used to using this phone anymore. Simply turn the app on, go to your settings, and click turn off. And the app turns off. It's that simple. If you no longer want to be part of the program for your state, and you once were, and you decide, I don't want to do this anymore, you just uninstall the app. Not the Google app, because you can't uninstall that. You uninstall the monitoring app that you downloaded for your state. So just by having it on your phone means nothing. It's not turned on by default because it wouldn't do any good if it was. All right? It's not big government tracking you down to do all kinds of things. There are some cool resources for public health that this particular tool, well, not this tool, but the Google tools have come out with. One of them is called, one of them uses a feature called location tracking. A lot of people that use phones for GPS a lot, maybe you hike or you ride a lot, you've got the location history turned on, so it tells you where you've been. It keeps a record. If you have that function turned on, Google does anonymously aggregate that data. It doesn't record that Tommy Jordan was in Walmart on Friday at 5 o'clock. Now my phone records that, for my knowledge, if I ever want to go back there, but it records that a person was here. One person was here, 2 people were here, 5 people were here. And if you want to see how that works, It's gstatic.com/COVID-19/mobility. Google is giving the federal government for a short amount of time, well, not federal government, they're giving this information to public health for a short amount of time. It's not something that's usually available. But what they do is they gather all the data from all these phones that have location awareness turned on. Mine is one of them. And they say, hey, just so you guys in the medical world know, since phones know where they're at all the time anyway, and we know where things are on maps because we built the coolest mapping system on the planet, we know how to put people in places and tell you where they're at in large groups, not individually, in large groups. So for example, I pulled up the stats for North Carolina as of August 17th. And so of all the Google people in the state that have this function on their phone turned on, it lets public health know that, hey, by the way, compared to normal, negative 12% of people are out doing retail. That's good to know. That means 12% less than the normal baseline for our state are out doing shopping. Minus 2% are out doing grocery shopping. Sounds about right, considering that we're in the middle of COVID. Yeah, sure. 64% positive, more than normal. 64% more than normal people are visiting parks, going outside, going to parks. That's good for the health department to know. People are not necessarily congregating at Walmart, they are going to big parks. So if we have an outbreak in our small community, and we have 5 public parks, maybe then that clues us in that according to the trends right now, a lot of people are going to public parks. That's a place that we need to be sure that we talk about and tell people maybe they shouldn't go for a week or two until things slow down. 23% less than normal are going to public transit, 35% less than normal are going to work, and 8% more than normal are currently in residential locations. So according to the Google users, and yeah, that's just the Google users that have this function turned on, about 10% more people are home than normal as of today. That number could change tomorrow, and well, the number will change tomorrow. But that is a function that does use your GPS. It does actually track you. It's just not reporting to the government who you are. There is no link to click on to go, okay, of the 8% of more people that are home, who are they? Let me click and drill down. This information is available to you just like it's available to the public health. So it's not like they're hiding it. They aren't giving it to the government. They're giving it to everyone. And they say on the site that this is being made available for a limited time due to the pandemic, and it will go away, and they'll stop reporting this once things get, I hate to say back to normal, but back to normal. So, no, the COVID-19 app does not track you. No, the COVID-19 app does not reveal your personal information to anybody whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. It does not use your GPS. It uses near-field Bluetooth communications to simply know if a person walked by that has a yes checked and a person walked by that has a no checked. It lets the person that did not have COVID know they were in proximity to someone who did. Does that mean you have it? Nope. It just means you were in near proximity to someone who did. If you're an at-risk person, maybe that means you go get a COVID test. If you're not an at-risk person like myself, maybe you just don't care. But no, the government's not spying on you. For God's sake, take off the tinfoil and stop posting stupid crap on Facebook that you don't understand, especially when you're posting it because somebody else posted it. That's the worst part. People are just reposting crap that, my friend told me this, it's got to be true. Does your friend work in IT at all? Does he have any, is he at all qualified to even have this conversation? Or is it just a person that likes to share shit on Facebook? 9 times out of 10, it's the latter. In fact, 99 times out of 100, it's the latter. So, there you go. It's a cool tool if you choose to use it. I don't use it. If I were diagnosed with COVID, I probably would. I just would, because I just don't care. I would want folks to know if they have the opportunity, hey, I was exposed. I'm not going to go around people intentionally if I've got it, but I've been, knock on wood, blessed that I have not. So, hope you've learned something today. Share it. Take time. Send it to someone that's too stupid to research on their own. All right? It's Saturday, and I'm going to go do something fun because it's the weekend. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. I'm out.